Hi guys, Billy back, and this time we are looking at the 1/6 scale Blitzway Hunters White Ghost figure. Now I have the first three, and this is the fourth release in the series. Now surprisingly, this is actually one of the smallest boxes that one of these figures has come in so far. They're usually a little bit bigger than this. They're pretty much on par with like a normal, maybe 1/6 scale statue or even 1/4 scale statues, which is pretty mad. So the fact that they've managed to shrunk these shippers down a little bit is probably something to do with shipping and whatnot, but maybe they've just worked out a way of compressing this guy into one single package a lot smaller than some of the original figures. But that's not really the point. No one's impressed by a bit of brown cardboard. So what we're going to do now is we're going to unbox this guy. And I got this from Gian Toy, and it shipped within about 2 weeks. So it took about 2 weeks to get here, maybe even about 10 days. Yeah, this arrived in just record time. Okay, we've got some polystyrene corner protectors. Get these out of the way. Then you go, you little bastards, gone. Okay, and up we come. Oh, let's have a look. This guy's a lot smaller, I tell you. But the box is still pretty thick. Okay, and here's the plastic taken off. And this is the front of the figure. That's pretty cool, doesn't it? We've got some of the behead artwork there. And it's got White Ghost just written in spot gloss on the front here, slightly raised. And then you've got your usual logos. Same with the Hunters logo. We've got Blitzway up the top. We've got all the cast and crew on the back here. Some more artwork on this side. And all the usual logos. Blitzway down the bottom. And then on the side, the artwork carries over. And the same spot gloss Hunters logo here. And we're going to have to unseal these stickers in order to get this bad boy out here. Really surprised by the size, because again, the first three were really quite humongous boxes. Impressively huge, you know. Cumbersome as all hell, so this might be a nice refreshing change. But it was one of those things where when you got it, you felt like you were buying something very premium. This feels like still a pretty premium figure. So size-wise, it hasn't taken away from what feels like quality. But still, there is something to be said for those big old boxes. Some sort of paperwork and a bit of card. This is probably like a certificate of authenticity in case someone ever decides to make knockoffs of these guys. You'll always have some sort of authenticity here. And these are the instructions just here. So it looks like we're going to have to be careful with a few things. As we're unboxing this, there's going to be a lot of work involved putting him together, but that's been the same for all the Hunters so far. So this should be fun. And what's this little thing here, huh? Pull it out, feels like a bit of premium card in an envelope. Slide this out, and it's some sort of certificate of authenticity. There's no signatures or anything, but you can see it's got a little hologram here, QR code, all the cast again. Just like a nice card. I wonder if you get this framed, it would go into like a shelf or a detolf or something like that. It would look pretty nice. Inside there is a polystyrene casing. Come on, don't fall out. Nothing fall out now. Nervous. And this is the figure. You can see with some of the accessories. Look at the size of that gun. That's humongous. And some more accessories along here. Now it is taped up. So what we can do is we can undo this, and probably underneath at the bottom is the stand. Although I am a bit disappointed, last time when I got one of these polystyrene cases, they had like the sort of Velcro straps you used to get with statues and stuff to hold the polystyrene together. And it really felt like a premium product. It was like, oh, this is special. But they seem to have sort of cut a bit of the fanfare out for this release. And we're giving it a smaller box and a little bit less pop. It pretty much turned up on time, so I can't really complain. You know, if cutting out some of that funfair was, you know, slowing down the release of this guy, kind of happy they did it this way, because even though that is a really nice way to unbox a figure and everything, we just want the figure more than anything, surely. And then we pull this open. Oh, here we go. We got way more accessories, trying to lift it up without everything falling out. But you can see we've got loads of silica gel, loads more accessory bits, including like a cyber dog type thing, his hat, some more weaponry, bags, satchels, all that kind of good stuff. And there's the stand, and that's about it. Okay, let's get everything out and see what it looks like outside of the box. Okay, as is the norm with the Blitzway Hunter, you get a plethora of accessories, quite a few in fact, and one of the most impressive ones and one of the coolest looking ones is the mechanical dog, and this one here looks absolutely stellar. Look at all the details in the back here, and all like there's like weathering and sort of like rusting in the corners here. Got a little antenna there. Some of the parts move. This head moves around a little bit. This handle at the top moves. The legs move. I think the feet are on ball joints as well. So yeah, this is quite a fun looking accessory, and it even has a tiny little light up feature with the red eye there. Now that really helps when you've got this mask on, which is something I've recognized before. This thing is very, very strange looking, but I've seen it somewhere else, maybe on like a music poster or an album, or you know when you just see something and you think, well, that's a bit weird, but it kind of works with these guys. You see, they have little bits of nods of pop culture and repurposed pieces, a bit like maybe this cyborg here that came with Dr. BB, and it is basically a Lego head. So you can see that those types of sort of pop culture references kind of leak into these figures a little bit. And what's really cool about this is that it fits on the front of this cyborg dog. You have to just slide it forward and it clips in place, and voila, you can see the eye is lit up and it looks pretty mental. And it's such a nice little detail, but it's just one of the accessories. It's not like the figure that you're buying. It's just a really nice looking accessory. And you can see he's got like a little bit of an engine part there underneath, and just like cogs and gears. Just, yeah, super impressed by that, and they've even dirtied up the feet and everything to make it look very weathered. And that, I'm not going to say that word anymore, but you can see that, yeah, this is exactly what it should look like coming out of the box. You have to be careful because there are some clips just behind here. So when you're taking this mask off, if you want to not use it without the mask, you have to sort of stretch these ears out a little bit so that this head can pop off. And once it does, you can have it again without the mask. But I think the mask adds just another element of weirdness to really make this stand out in your collection. Now, one of the things about the Bheadworks is that he does like custom figures, and he'll use stuff that he finds lying around, you know, to make these figures. And these are exactly that, basically. You can see all these little metal clips here. These are elastic bands. They're just like hair bubbles that are supposed to look like wires or rope, and they're all tied together with some like metal wire here, and there's like a little dangly sort of adornment just on the bottom here, and these sort of hang off him, and they're supposed to look like he's carrying around like excess wires and stuff. But you can see they just quite literally put hair bangles in here, which normally I'd be like, oh, that's so cheap and nasty. But when you know where these come from Bheadworks, and that he does these types of things with these figures, you got to appreciate the authenticity of the work in keeping some of those elements together. And you can see they're all painted really well and dirty. And what's a hunter without the big giant beads around the neck? And again, these are very well in keeping with the figure itself. Other figures in the series have come with big beads around their neck, and this one is no different, and I really like the way they've done these. They've even put a little wire in there this time. Normally they're just on an elastic, but this time they've actually put like a posable wire, so this can sort of flex around and maybe hang off the shoulders a little bit, which will look really good. He also comes with this sort of, I don't know, rice farmer hat, you know, like a sun hat type thing. It looks really cool. You used to see these in samurai movies a lot. Very nice, and it's very, very cool. But I'm getting vibes of Madonna from it, from this angle. Do you know what I mean? Probably best not saying that again. YouTube will probably demonetize me. But yeah, this looks really cool. I really like the actual straw hat style. And again, he's got beads hanging down from it, sort of hang off the back of his neck like that, or you know, when it's on him, these beads will drop down. He's got little adornments and little dangly bits, little ropes and stuff, so you can hang more stuff off there. If you found some little trinkets maybe and you wanted to customize this, go ahead. You could probably stick a couple of little bits on here and make it your own. He also comes with 2 revolvers, and I really like these. They're not as detailed as some of the other guns we've gotten with the other figures. At least the others had like sort of old sort of bits of fabric wrapped around the handles and stuff to make them look repurposed. But I'm guessing this guy is a little bit more professional, probably takes care of his stuff a little bit more. So his is a little bit, you know, in keeping with a normal gun. And you've got 2 of these, so both go on his chest area in the holsters. And they both look very nice. And again, this bit turns in here, but they don't open up or anything. But I think these would be really effective accessories on him. But they're not meant to be held by him very often, because these hands are just too big to hold them. You know, it's just, they rattle around in there and fall out. So these aren't designed for that. These are designed for the big boy here, which we'll look at in a minute. But let's have a look at the hands now that we are here. And we're keeping with the style. The hands and the gloves are really oversized for these figures. Something that I incorporated into my custom figure myself. But if you weren't going to use these with this guy, you could always use them with another figure if you were to custom build your own. But yeah, look at this. Very well sculpted, well detailed. There's like some rubbing and stuff from metal just on the gloves here. And they're appropriately dirty, and thank God the actual weathering is nice and dry. The dirt isn't coming off in my hands. He also comes with these 2 extra canisters that go on his back, and you can see that they've got little ports here, and that's because it's going to fit the mask, which is here. Now this is a well-known feature in these figures, these big giant masks that they wear. I really like that they've actually gone with a transfer that looks like he's painted that on there himself. And again, filthy. Nice and detailed as per usual. And then if you were to put this in there, this would just slot into the port of the canister here. Takes a couple of seconds to work it in there. Once it's in, it's in. And then you can hang this off his face and it'll reach around onto his back. He also comes with a weathered satchel that's supposed to hang off his back, I think, or maybe on the belt. I think we both know the word I'm going to use for this, but I'm not going to say it. But look, ugh, grimy, very cool. I always like these. This is what I really like about these figures. They go to the next level with the weathering and make them just look that little bit more detailed. He also comes with a pair of glasses that fit on his head. Again, it's got a really nice cracked lens, but be very careful. These are slightly flexible, but they are very flimsy, and I have no doubt that many of this figure are going to break over the years. And when people are selling them, they may not mention it, but you might want to ask about the glasses and say, like, are the glasses still complete? Because I have a funny feeling they can break really easily over the time. It also comes with this cool little tech gadget box. Don't know where this goes yet. I'll have a look at the instructions, but yeah, I think that works pretty nicely. Chippings, grimy, looks futuristic but also post-apocalyptic. Yeah, I don't know what it does, but I like it. And he also comes with this belt that goes around the waist, and that's where the pouch fits on here as well. And maybe some other accessories if you feel the need. Maybe these ropes here hang off his hip. And he comes with this really cool looking weird asymmetrical grenade bomb, something that Bubba Cat came with as well, something similar, a water canister and another satchel. This is what I mean when I say that they put wraps on things. So you can see there's wraps on this knife here, and you can pull this out, and that is, look at that. Yeah, that's a very nice deal. It's almost a shame that it's going to sit in a holster. But yeah, you can have this posed holding it if you really want. But that's not really what you're going to pose him with most of the time, because it's not the most impressive weapon. The most impressive weapon is just up here. Look at this thing. I can barely fit it in the screen unless I hold it right far back here. Sorry Marty, I've just knocked you over. But look at this thing, it's humongous. It's got all the wraps and cloth wrapping up in here. Grimy, filth-induced. It's got loads of warning labels, you know. Fire hazard and all that type of stuff. It's got turns and dials. Sadly, they're just sculpted in. They're not real turns or anything. But again, you can see it's like a very basic stock massive rifle that's been completely modded out and retrofitted with all sorts of other things from other guns and bits and bobs. And it really does make it look unique. It's even got like a little wire, electrical wire along here, maybe for aiming, better tech in there. And look here, there's actually a real lens on the end of the scope. I like that. And again, the wires come around this side and there's more wraps here. And luckily they're dry this time. The last time when I got one of these guns with a wrap on it, it was still sticky to the touch. And it even comes with a moving part here. Like you can load and reload. It's a bit sticky, but once you get it on, it just looks really, really cool. So you can have it sort of half cocked, so he's ready to reload, and then put it down when he's ready to shoot. That is very, very, very cool. Look at all that chipping along the plate in here. This is the kind of things that you really, really enjoy about 1/6 scale. You know, these tiny little details that just take this to the next level. It also comes with this cloth that I've just given it a sniff, and it's really grimy and sort of full of chemicals where they've put weathering in it and dirtied it up, and it looks really good. Again, I don't know where this is going to go, if it goes on his waist or it hangs off the side or is just added to the cape on his back just over there, but I'll have a look at the instruction. Oh, but before we move on, let's have a look at the base. And again, this is a standout item in all Blitzway hunters, is these big, chunky, heavy bases. And look at that. I could swear they just went outside and just rolled this around in the dirt outside, because it's so textured around the edges, and you've got like this grill grating inside that's actually a separate actual piece inside the stand bit that they fitted in there and then glued in. And you can see that it all works so well. And that picture sign is a bit different from all the others because of that sort of, I don't know, is that Japanese or Korean? I'm not entirely sure. I should really do my research a bit better. But look at all the filth and grime building into the crevices here. All these horrible dirty tubes. It is far more muddy and dirt ridden than any of the other pieces that has come in this series so far. But yeah, I absolutely love how this works. And if we turn it upside down, it's got Hunter's white ghost on there as well. And it's got some rubber protectors, you don't scratch up your case or your shelves too much. But my God, is it heavy! And the final accessory that I've already fitted on him is this shoulder pad. It hangs off this hook here. And what I really like about this is the asymmetry, because you don't have the same on this side. He's not fully armoured up. This is a guy that's just sort of grabbed scraps from anywhere and he's just trying to fit some armour together. And you can see this sort of just hangs off there, and it's sort of clumsily placed on there as well. But that's by design. You know, in the actual artwork, that's how this fitted. It just sort of hung off his shoulder a little bit, like it's a makeshift shoulder pad. It's not perfect, but it's just there to give him a little bit of extra protection. And that's where the guns go, just on the front here. And yeah, that's all the accessories, and I'm just exhausted from reeling them all off. So now we're just going to get straight to it and start having a look at the figure himself. Here is the head sculpt, and we can see this still has that sort of mixed sort of anime sort of cross with Korean sort of art style. And it's not super realistic. It is a very, very stylized head sculpt, but it still looks really, really good. This is a guy who takes care of himself. This is the post-apocalypse. It's the end of the world, but god damn does he manage to keep his eyebrows under control. But he's got 2 eyebrow piercings. He's got his ears pierced. He's got really cool looking face paint just under his eye there, maybe even a tattoo. And then the hair on top looks really nice, but he's got it shaved underneath. And coming around, you can see he's got it sort of like a motif shaved into the back of his head there. That's just so cool, and it's in keeping with all the other figures in the series. I absolutely love that. Look at it, the eyes are super glossy as well. People are just impressed when they see these on the shelf, I promise you. And then coming down into the body, you can see all this sort of dirtied up clothing he's got on, these army fatigues. Now you've got to pull these down a little bit, because once they ride up, they expose the joints a little bit on the back of the legs, but that's not too big a deal. And he's got some armour plating down by the stomach. He plans not to get his guts ripped out. Not sure why he hasn't got it a bit more up here, or, you know, near the heart, but hey, that's his style. And turning around, lifting up that cape, you can see the plating comes on the back here where those 2 canisters go. Lots of straps, lots of little buckles and everything to give you that detail. And then coming down into the trousers is the same. You got those sorts of shorts that the boy had, and he's also got really, really big boots on with the shin guards. But they're a split cut boot again, so you can pose them around pretty nicely. And the joints are super tight on this guy. Getting the arms up really high, like that. There is a bicep swivel, there is a double bend in the arms, their hands are on wrist pegs. The torso is a little bit restricted, but you can still bend him down quite far. He can absolutely Van Damme it. There is a thigh swivel, there is a double bend in the knees, and again I've already mentioned the ankles are on wrist pegs, so they can move about quite a bit, so you can get him in some really cool poses. But obviously be careful, because again he's carrying so many little bits of detail on him, the straps and bits and bobs, that just be careful while you're posing him, you don't want to break anything. Okay, so with a bit of fucks in and everything, I've managed to put a lot of the accessories on him. I haven't put the face mask or the hat on yet, simply because I wanted to have a look at him with the head sculpt. And you can see those glasses work really well. They fit so snugly around the ears. It's perfect. Sad to say that the hands could be a little better. There's slightly open ones and there's gun holding hands, but there's nothing with a bit more of an open grip so we can hold that gun just a little bit better. But quickly, let's have a look. You can see on the cape on the back here, he's also got the same print. Maybe it says White Ghost, I don't know, on the back here, but look at all that dirt and weathering around the edges of the actual frayed cape. It looks really cool. And that other bit of cloth flaps over his head, so that when you actually put the face mask on and the hat on, it looks like he's almost camouflaged, you know, like he waits in the ruins of somewhere. It's completely draped in cloth, and then, you know, picks his target or whatever. And you can see all the canisters on the back there working. He's got his belt on with that canvas bag already on. He's got the knife just here by his hip, and that armor plating I've lifted up a little bit so it looks a little bit more practical than, you know, belly protector kind of thing. But yeah, it does drop down a little bit. These tassels, I'd like them to drop a bit more naturally, because at the moment they're a little bit sticky outy, but that's something again I can mess with when I've got the time. And I think when people see this on the shelf, they're going to look and just be blown away by the details. Everywhere you look, there's something new going on. It was the same with WW3, it's the same with Bheadworks. There's all these tiny, tiny little details that really make these figures stand out. And it's why I get excited whenever they announce a new one, because I know I'm going to be getting something special, because Bheadworks is just a master of detail, and Blitzway are going to do their damn best to bring that into a mass market figure, and that's exactly what they've done here. So with that aside, what are the standout pieces in this figure? Well, the accessories, for one. That gun is humongously impressive, let's be honest. That cape is really, really nicely weathered. So many different colours in it, from the sands to the dark browns to the real sort of dirt and grime and the sort of oily bits just down in the bottom part here. All these cool little straps and buckles all the way around him. I really like those glasses. They fit on the head way better than they should. And it's such a shame that I'm going to use the mask to cover this guy up. Blitzway Hunters are some of the flagship pieces in my collection room. Every single time I turn and have a look at them, I'm like, wow, just stunning. They really do feel like custom figures. Bheadworks sort of artwork and these custom figures and everything just blow me away every single time. I really, really hope that maybe in the future Blitzway will try and replicate one of his original figures in as an authentic way as possible, because they always put their own spin on these figures. But I would love to see them get one of these old figures and just really go at it to make it look exactly the same, because he's done some fantastic stuff. But that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a little bit longer than normal, mostly because I just love breaking these things down and having a look at every tiny little bit of detail. And if you could do me a favor now, if you can get out of my cave, I'm going to go put this guy on the shelf next to Dr. BB and Bheadworks and the boy, and he's just going to look awesome. So Blitzway, do yourselves a favor, release a fifth one. I beg you, Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.